Welcome to Disney's Port Orleans Resort, Riverside. We are in Alligator Bayou, which is where you will find the 5th sleeper room. So these are rooms that will sleep up to 5 guests, which is not always a thing at a moderate, although it seems like maybe it's going to start being more of a thing. I know Caribbean Beach's new rooms all have the 5th sleeper too, so we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, we're at one of my all-time favorite Disney hotels anywhere on this planet. And I know when you say that for a moderate, people raise an eyebrow sometimes. I know the deluxe resort snobby people are going to raise an eyebrow at me. But I personally love French Quarter and Riverside, and probably prefer Riverside to French Quarter by quite a bit. And what we're going to see here is, I think, a room that blends everything that every resort remodel of the modern era should be, right? Where we still have thematic elements, pieces of story, interesting furniture and fixtures that tell the story and the theme. And it's not an overly white room. It has lots of color. It has a lot going on, but it's still clean and modern and has everything you need out of it. This checks all the boxes in my book, and let's find out why. So most of the moderates have the AC unit that sticks out from under the window, which is actually a nice little, gives you a nice little windowsill. What I always find charming at these hotels, people will put plush or signs or things up there, which is very cute as you walk by. And again, so here's it's a very nice modern curtain, but it also has printed design on it, which gives you a little bit of that rustic feel again. So the theme of Alligator Bayou is we're essentially in New Orleans, or Louisiana, I should say, outside New Orleans. The other hotel is the French Quarter of proper New Orleans, but maybe just outside New Orleans. You've ever traveled outside the main city, you've seen these more rustic areas, the Bayou. And all of this will emulate that. What I love about this hotel, again, 2 very distinct sections that are almost 2 different resorts, right? On the other side, we have the plantation houses, which are really regal and beautiful. Obviously, we have room tours of those up already. You could watch the princess rooms. You could look at a standard room. 2 very different things, and all on that side. But that standard room is so wildly different from this room thematically, and of course with the 5th sleeper. But both great. I mean, personally, I prefer Alligator Bayou, but that's just me. I like the exterior better of the other side, but I love the interior of these rooms. I don't know, it's hard to pick. They're all great. We got this big rope for the curtain rod. So you have your privacy curtain and all that here, as you would expect. The garbage can is there in the corner. We have this really great wood table. And some chair. Of course, things are mismatched a little bit, right? Again, that's part of the theme. And this great wooden mirror over here. The theming, of course, goes right down to the lighting fixtures as well. I think these are tremendous bed frames. So, of course, these are the modern ones. The bed is lifted off the ground a bit more, and there is room for storage underneath, which in a 5th sleeper room is going to be super important. You're going to notice there's not a lot of storage space in this room, right? So this is super important because all of your storage is kind of here. You have 3 drawers underneath the sleeper, and then obviously you do have this big open, spacious, essentially closet space, I would say, off of the bathroom and the vanity. But I mean, accessibility could be a thing, right? If someone's getting ready here and they've pulled this privacy curtain, you can't get to your stuff there. If someone's still sleeping on this bed, you can't really get to the 3 drawers underneath them. The most accessible stuff is under here. So mind you, obviously, this is a 5th sleeper, so people are going to put 5 people in this room. The one main problem is probably going to be storage. If you live at a luggage and you're okay with that, you'll be all right. If that's a deal breaker, then maybe you want to try something else. Maybe you don't want, I mean, if you have 5 people, and you want 1 room, there's only so many options for you to begin with, but maybe in that case, you want to get 2 standard rooms somewhere else. We got these great lantern style lights up over the bed, very cute. And I love this bed frame because it's not crazy themed. It fits the room. And then there are little Princess and the Frog touches throughout, but it's not overdone, right? That's what I like also, is that for the more hardcore Disney fans like you and me, there's not overt character, but there's enough character. And then that's enough character probably for the more casual Disney fan, the regular guest, if we will, the family from Denver, if you want to call them that. So we've got the crown/frog print up there hiding. And look at this cute little, I love this cute little towel Mickey. It's hanging out here. Of course, I do still miss the day. I don't know if I bring this up very often. I miss the day of either the bed runners or the comforters. But I understand in Central Florida, a lot of guests weren't using those. It's hot a lot of the year. They just get thrown on the floor. I do miss it, though. It adds a lot of character to the rooms. And I do miss those days of... so for those that don't know, there used to be big themed comforters. And then after the comforters, they went with the bed runners as like the solution of people don't really need the comforter, but we want the splash of theme in the room. And eventually someone was just like, you know what? Forget it. And I loved them so much that when they were sold through property control and all sorts of places, I actually bought a number of them. One of the ones I do have is the Riverside one is very cool. It has the building with the mill on it and everything, but it's off topic. I just love those. But the furniture's great, right? So here is the nightstand, and it is very themed. It looks like a crate, as do a number of the fixtures in the room. And the little handle is a key, and we can open the up crate. And I mean, there is storage space. You could try to use this space. This isn't a giant drawer, but people that aren't 6'2" and my size probably could fit several days of clothes in here. Oh boy, I think 2 of my pairs of jeans would fit in there though. There is some storage space under there too, though. 2 USB, 2 standard outlets. Your room phone, which does say Alligator Bayou on it, is here, and as well your guide to the magic. Which I had an epiphany earlier, which was, Tron opening after the 50th makes sense, because otherwise, if you open Tron before the end of the 50th, just before the end of the 50th, you'd have to reprint all this stuff, right? So I kind of get it. This unit is tremendous, right? This is incredibly themed. It looks like a number of crates, but even this padded couch portion has this fun pattern that does have sort of a cartoony snake on it. It's so cute. There's a number of very cool references on here that I want to talk about. First off, on the side of the crate, we have LHMC 101971, which, of course, Walt Disney World opened on October 1st, 1971. I don't know if the LHMC means anything. I don't know. Someone let me know in the comments if I'm just not thinking about it. I know for sure what the numbers down here mean. We have AB 2292. AB is Alligator Bayou. 2292, the opening of this resort back in 1992. And then in the middle, not to be outdone, Willie Incorporated, established 1928. That's, of course, the Steamboat from Steamboat Willie, the first released Mickey Mouse cartoon that debuted in New York City in 1928. But isn't that great? I love that this is up here, and so the person sleeping here can have access to it, but kind of everyone could put stuff up here. It's a nice long, it's not terribly wide, but it's a nice, depends which way you're looking at it. It is terribly wide. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of depth, if you want to put it that way. But you could put a number of mobile devices, and I guess magic bands now have to be part of that conversation too, up here. 4 standard and 2 USB outlets hanging out up here. This is going to be irrelevant fairly soon, but this says housekeeping is every other day. As we know, they are returning full housekeeping on the daily to all Disney resorts, which for the prices they charge, rightfully so. Happy, very happy that that's happening. But what a great unit. I love that there's just 3 very cool references on here, which the average person, that's the Disney detail difference, right? These are cute little things that just look like they're part of the story to the guests who maybe don't know. And then those of us who are in the know, we get to have that moment of figuring out what Imagineering or whoever left behind for us. This is a cute little unit as well. It's got this metal plate with lily pads and such on it. Very cute. They do. So what's interesting here is I've never really seen a fridge unit or coffee station, whatever you want to call this, with so much shelf space, which I think had to be a decision made again because there was so little storage in the room, right? I don't think they think you need all of this for like snacks and stuff. Not necessarily everyone who stays at a Disney hotel, brings food back to the room or stores snacks and things like that. You may, but in this case, I think people are probably gonna end up using it to put clothes or something that maybe they need space for. We have our ice bucket. We have our cups, which are the newer. I love these. These are the Mickey cups. Get this in the lights. You can see it. If you look real close, I'll try to get more light on it maybe. You see there's old Mickey heads on there. I love these. I take them home every time. I don't use them here. I take them home. Very classic style Mickey shelf and places to hang coats, or I mean coats would be a stretch because it's not very tall, but you could hang umbrellas and all sorts of other things here, I guess. I guess the placement of that's kind of weird, but it's a staple of all the other rooms, and I guess with this fifth sleeper, they had no other choice of where to put this. But again, more shelf space and place to hang stuff, maybe not, again, a bad idea given the storage issues. Okay, so this privacy curtain is where we're going to get some of the character in this room. It's very, very charming. It's going to be Tiana and Naveen in frog form, looking up at the night sky with quote-unquote Evangeline, who Ray, the Firefly, was in love with. I think this is probably, I don't want to spoil the movie, but is this before or after something happens to Ray? I don't know. I don't see two stars in the sky, so this is probably before. Try to see if just Ray's hiding somewhere on here, maybe. But I don't think he is, because I think he's in the other room on another piece of the room. I think he's hidden. Not even hidden. Hidden's the wrong word. But again, what I was talking about with, things that look like they belong, and so the average guest, it doesn't faze them, but for us, it's so special. This is very special because this is going to be a piece. I'm going to try to squeeze in here. This is going to be a piece of Herb Ryman concept art. Herb Ryman should be a name as a Disney fan you're very familiar with. He's one of the most accomplished artists in the history of Walt Disney Imagineering, and someone who drew so many of the most important pieces of art. And it's arguable, without Herb Ryman, if there'd even be a Disneyland. So if you're not familiar with Herb Ryman, get familiar. Amazing, amazing work. And this is going to be his art for the Blue Bayou at Disneyland, which is an indoor restaurant in the Load area. Load and first scene, I would say, of Pirates of the Caribbean. That attraction would open in 1967. And it's labeled, which is nice because, the average guest could go down this rabbit hole, right? There could be a nice introduction to Herb Ryman and New Orleans Square and the Blue Bayou and all of these things. It's a beautiful piece of art. Love that it's here. And I know if you watched our other Port Orleans room tours, they've got a lot of Herb Ryman, New Orleans Square art. It was a very nice and thoughtful thing and rounds out the room well, and it's much, much appreciated. Another thing that'll date the time of this review, the 50th coffee is still hanging around. We've got a couple more weeks left of the 50th when this was filmed, for those of you out there in the future. There is a Cuisinart coffee maker here. I didn't even comment on that. I think we can move on to the bathroom and the vanity at this point. There's the fan and that light. I think we've looked at everything else in here. Okay. This is a tremendous vanity. First of all, double vanity is great, especially when you might have this many people in the room. It's much needed. Mirror, real nice. Again, I showed you all this already. You do have the ironing board and the iron. They're starting to get away from that, and I do wear these all the time, so I appreciate there being an iron and an ironing board in the room. I don't like the steamer. The last time I used it, I got burnt on it. Not a big fan. But I used to use a steamer at home, and in fact, the same one they're putting in rooms now. I've never been a fan of it. I don't think it works super great. I threw mine out, and so just something to keep in mind. Some resorts do not have the iron and ironing board anymore if you plan on, you know, wearing some nicer clothes or something that might need to be ironed. I've never seen this style of instruction in these before. Interesting. It's a nice big safe. It's very tall, not very deep, but tall enough to put probably anything you need to in there. Lots of hangers. No shortage of hangers. Extra bedding, which you may need. I'm so in love with this washboard. The fact that they're like, well, there's going to be legs there, and they're like, well, let's make a washboard the length of the span between the legs, and it's so perfect, right? It's the shape of a washboard, fits perfectly in that spot. I'm so enamored with this, and again, it's the Acadian Company, which that's a word that's going to show up a lot at this resort. First quality, number 92, of course, 1992 when this opened. Memphis, New Orleans, and Atlanta, all mentioned on there. Is it real? I mean, yeah, it's metal. So you could, if your kids want to come sit here and play the vanity. Oh boy, that's a terrible idea. Don't tell your kids to do that. Neighbor's going to complain about noise. Laid up makeup mirror here. There's some outlets up here. Yeah, that covers the space well. A lot of room out here. I like how much room there is. I love the floor tile. It looks very nice. And this adds so much. This wood planking. I just love it. It's a modern room, but it keeps all that attention to detail that this hotel's had its entire life. It's so important, I think. So important to the Disney experience. We have a nice long mirror on the back of the, or I should say the front of the door. Look at these handles. It's so different. I don't know if there's another Disney hotel that has the big round handle. The weird things you notice as a Disney fan that stays in every hotel. So here we do have Ray, and Ray is admiring Evangeline, the bright star. There he is. A very cute shower curtain. I wish they'd go back to selling these. Art of Animation, when that opened, they tried to sell the shower curtains like you bring them home. And I don't think it went over well, so they stopped. They were kind of overpriced. And I mean overpriced even by Disney standards. Like, I think they were $100 or something like that. So that's why I think it didn't work. But, man, I mean, I wouldn't know which ones to pick. There's so many good ones. And then again, like, this is not a boring bathroom simply because you did this fake wood planking all around the shower. This is tremendous. It's minimal effort, and it means the world. It really makes such a difference. Imagine if this was just white tile, how that would take you out of the place and the story you're in. And this little decision makes such a difference. Such a difference. We have the mounted amenities, body wash, conditioner, and shampoo. Nice big shower head up here. Pretty standard Disney tub. The toilet. Oh, if this will turn, there we go. Little garbage can. I feel like that should probably be kicked back in there a little bit. Got like a wood pattern on the exterior of it. Your towels. Again, like I can't say enough about the Port Orleans, and it's so pleasant to walk around outside. I know that won't really be a part of this video, but both sides are beautiful in their own way. I love out here, you go over little bridges over the marsh, over the bayou. It's so charming. There's a really nice quiet pool out here. This is building 17. There's a really nice quiet pool right outside this building. I'm pretty close to the lobby. I mean, it's a great counter service. Boat Rights is there for table service. River Roost, one of the best bars on property. A gorgeous resort, well-appointed rooms. I can't say enough good things about Port Orleans, and especially Riverside. And this is, I love this room. I'm really enamored with this room. So, yeah, that's our tour. Again, a fifth sleeper room at Port Orleans. And I do believe that fifth sleeper, again, exclusive to the Alligator Bayou side. They don't have them on the Magnolia side. They don't have them, but yeah. I was so excited about the room. I forgot to open the bed. I forgot to actually open the fifth sleeper. I'm so used to moderates not having this that even though I said fifth sleeper 10 times, I didn't think about it. Oh, would you look at that? We've got Lewis, Tiana and Naveen are taking a nap on him, and Ray is wide awake again. Evangeline up there, all the lily pads and fireflies. It's very, very cute art. And when it's open, it kind of brings the room to life a little bit. Very bright, vibrant colors. A nice little splash that the room probably needs with all the browns and beiges. It offsets it well. So this mattress I've slept on in a number of places. I'm not always a fan of this mattress. I don't think it's going to be wildly comfortable. I mean, actually, this one might be a little different. It's pretty thick. It is on, like, this is just a hard board, right? This is the front of this thing is what it's leaning on. This is best for a kid. Anyone super heavy, you're going to press on it, and you might start to feel like you are sleeping on a wood board. So I think the idea is it's not super long either, so it's really not meant for an adult, but an adult could sleep on it. Just keep that in mind. And one last thing to look at. I guess we didn't really look at the mini fridge, but it's the standard one. Yeah, nothing crazy about that. And that is our room, our fifth sleeper room at Port Orleans Riverside in Alligator Bayou.